We do traditional police work, but we also do environmental law enforcement. That's really the big difference. Park rangers in particular, it depends on basically where we are and what time of year it is.
Come on in, lots of great information.
If I wasn't doing this today, I'd be at White Clay Creek State Park, which is up near the Pennsylvania line, up in Newcastle County. And today is one of the last days of our shotgun deer season. So go ahead.
Aren't you a captain?
I am, yeah. Yeah, but I still do work in the field. So the officers with my agency, above captain's responsible basically for a region. We split the responsibility between north and south. So I've got all the parks that are basically in Newcastle County, and I supervise the full-time rangers. But we also do the traditional road work too as captains. So like I was saying, with the hunting enforcement, we're checking hunters to make sure that they've got their licenses, that they're using the right kind of weapon to hunt, they're wearing orange, that they're in an area where they're supposed to be and not an area where they're not supposed to be, and that the public is basically staying out of the hunting areas. And it kind of changes with the weather and the time of year. The traditional kind of police work that we do a lot of drug and alcohol enforcement as rangers. We do search and rescue work. We do traffic enforcement. We investigate traffic accidents that happen inside the park, visitor injuries, things like that. And then we do things that are completely outside of the law enforcement spectrum. If there's a storm in the park, for example, we may be out clearing trees. We may be out plowing snow if we've got a major snow event, things like that. So it's interesting. I mean, it changes every day. No call is the same. No day is the same. It really just kind of depends. Anybody here got an interest in law enforcement as far as where it goes? What are you leaning towards?
A state trooper of Georgia.
State trooper for Georgia? How come Georgia?
Because that's where I live. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, they've got a very good reputation, and no matter what state you end up going to as far as working as a state trooper, they're usually considered to be the elite police of that state. And I've heard a lot of good things about Georgia in particular. Georgia's interesting because they run things a lot more loosely there. By that I mean like their officers can engage in like vehicle pursuits a lot more freely than they can in Delaware. It's just the way their system is set up. So you also were thinking law enforcement, right? What in particular? Did you have an agency in mind or a direction?
They're really thirsty.
For who now?
A lawyer.
A lawyer. Okay. Yeah. We actually we work a lot with lawyers both on the defense side and on the prosecution side. As a police officer, I work primarily with prosecutors, and they will represent my cases or me when I make an arrest. For example, if I make like a drunk driving arrest inside the park, and the person that I arrest wants to actually go through with a trial, I'll have a lawyer or a prosecutor that's representing me throughout that process, and then the person that I arrest actually will have a lawyer representing them. And it's basically how the system works. But law enforcement works very closely with lawyers.
Oh, question, is regarding your uniform. I know how the collar brasses show, but
Yep.
I never knew what did the ones on the arm show?
Yep.
Those ones.
Yeah. So these represent how many years I've been with the agency. So each of these bars is 3 years.
Yeah, I know the sergeants and all that.
Yeah, it's different than rank. So this is strictly years of service. So this represents 27. There's 9 bars. So with every 3 years, then I'll get a different one, and it just keeps going further up the sleeve. So it's kind of a way for other police officers in the field to look at you and see, this guy's been on a little bit longer. He's probably a good one to ask questions of.
So you've been doing it for
27 years, yeah. I actually started when I was in college. I did this as a seasonal or as a summer job when I was going to school. Decided that I liked it, applied to Delaware, and have been doing it. I've been doing it ever since. My actual rank, once you get above a sergeant will have basically bars on the sleeve.
It's like the three.
Yeah, you know exactly what. And then once you get above that, when you get to a lieutenant or a captain, they're either going to wear it on the collar or they'll wear it up on the epaulet, up here, all the way up to chief. So, and a lot of agencies, they'll transition. Ours stays this brass or gold color. They'll transition from silver to brass once they get up to the administrative levels. Good question. What's that? Once you get up to be an administrator, like a lieutenant or above, where you're supervising people other than like a sergeant supervises people in the field and remains in the field. Once you get to the point where you are basically working more like out of a less in a field setting and more administratively, more as out of an office, then your rank goes from your sleeve up to your collar or up to the epaulet here. But for our agency in particular, like I said, our guys that are higher up, like captains and even our chief, we actually spend a lot of time on the road and still doing patrol work. Not like with state police, once you get to a captain's level, you're basically behind a desk your entire day.
Yeah, like my mom, she's like, "Don't you want to become a detective?" I'm like, "No, I just want to stay like on the beat."
Yeah, and state police will offer you a lot of opportunities to go in those different directions, whether it's like you may be interested in like a SWAT unit or going the detective route. And there's advantages to both of them. In talking to guys who do the detective work, they like that a lot because they don't have to wear the uniform. They get to drive a vehicle that doesn't have the markings on it.
Yeah, I like having the marking vehicles and I like having the uniform on.
Yeah, and I do too. When they were giving out vehicles, the captain usually has an unmarked vehicle. I asked for one that's marked. It's good advertisement for the agency. People are, they identify you more readily as a police officer. They come up and ask you questions, and you basically, I'm proud of the agency that I work for. I like people to know who I am and to kind of be accountable with a marked vehicle. So, but our guys, they'll have either marked or unmarked. I've got a guy that works in a park that he drives a pickup truck that's unmarked. Nobody knows he's a police officer. He gets stopped if he's speeding on Route 1, he'll get stopped for speeding on Route 1 because it doesn't look like a police vehicle. But he likes it. That's kind of his thing.
And it sort of holds back citizens from stopping you, like to flag you down. If they can't tell that you're a cop, then they can't.
Yeah, exactly. And in a state park situation, you want kind of a balance. Okay, you want people to basically see that you're out there on patrol, and they see that with a marked vehicle. If I've got guys that are just driving around in unmarked vehicles with tinted windows and stuff, you don't know that there's a police presence out there, and it makes people feel more secure a lot of times. If you're out there not breaking the law and you're not a criminal, you want to see the marked vehicles. If you're a criminal, then the unmarked vehicles give us a little bit of an advantage because they don't necessarily see us coming. So we usually run with both of them out there. Pretty much every park that I'm responsible for, I've got a ranger that's got a marked vehicle and an unmarked vehicle. We never go with straight just unmarked vehicles at any of the parks. You guys got any other questions about the
What'd you say?
The most common thing I deal with probably is marijuana now. It seems like I deal with a lot of like college age kids and younger adults, so I'm dealing with that almost on a daily basis. There'll be people that will actually come out to the park because it's remote, and they can't do it in their house or something, so they take it out to the park. So that's what's most common. Thanks, guys.